Education Sector Television International (ESTV). It is a bright afternoon, and I welcome you all to another episode of One Citizen of Greater Values. Today, I have with me a cross-functional guru who has seen it all in the banking and finance sector, telecommunication, oil and gas, even at the health sector. He has been there. And today, my guest is basically focused on technology solution to Africa. Could you please join me to welcome Mr. Tunji Alabi, the Chief Executive Officer of Infratel Africa. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you today, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be on this program.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my very first question. You've seen it all in the oil and gas sector, in the telecommunication and thereabouts. Now you are not focused on providing solutions to technology in Africa. What exactly do you mean by this?
Okay. So, I started life as a young man. I did my first degree in computer engineering. And I did my first degree in computer engineering at the time when computers were few and far between. I left university in the mid-80s. I left university and I proceeded to England to do my master's. I did my master's in telecommunications. And I got my first job as a banker.
Okay.
Providing technology support in Citibank in England. I did that for a few years, and I moved to become the head of technology at one of the teaching hospitals in England. I left that and I became the chief technology officer of a betting company.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I wanted to move back to Nigeria. I thought I'd done enough in England. This was towards the late 90s. And in 2001, I decided I'd had enough in England. And I moved to South Africa en route to come to Nigeria. I had 3 boys under 5. And I said, bringing them back to Nigeria just like that would have been a shock to the system. That I will transition through South Africa. In South Africa, I worked for Shell. And I worked for Shell Africa, and I was all over Africa doing a lot of technology solutions within Shell. I did that for a bit, then I moved back to Nigeria, and I worked for Econet at the time.
A telecommunications
company. So I was one of the very first expatriates working for Econet. Econet became V-Mobile. V-Mobile became Celtel. And I was there for a few years. I became the director of strategy for Celtel at the time. Then I moved back to banking.
Okay.
I became the group CIO of EcoBank, the group based out of Ghana. I was in EcoBank in Ghana for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Providing technology solutions to 33 countries, all the affiliates of EcoBank.
In Africa.
In Africa. And I developed a passion for financial inclusion. That means providing banking services to the underserved and unserved. And then I decided that I wanted to start my own company. I have a lot of technology and I have a lot of telecommunications and banking. So I tried to marry those 3 things. And I decided that I wanted to go into infrastructure service provision within the telecommunication industry, but with a strategic focus on bridging the gap between the rural and urban sector. The have-nots to the ones that have a lot. And that's what we have been doing since we started this Infratel Africa. So Infantel Africa is what we do is we provide connectivity solutions in the underserved and unserved areas, all the rural areas throughout Africa. But we don't stop there. What we also do is within that community, we have a lot of transformational technology services that we provide. And these things such as we do things like telemedicine, e-learning. So we do a lot of e-learning activities with special focus on women and youths. And this is digital literacy. So we spend time providing digital literacy training within the rural community. We do things like solar-based cold rooms. So in the farming communities, we put a cold room there where they rent just space to enable them to preserve their crops, their produce, or whatever they need to preserve. We provide other solutions such as agency banking, so that we can do remittance. And you know the remittance tends to come from urban to rural, so that they have a way of catching in and catching out. So we have a series of this. We do power, so you can see that we provide power solutions, because most of these rural communities are off grid. There's no grid. So we give them solar power, and they all have to be subscribed every month. They don't need to own anything, just subscribe to it. So we are providing these innovative transformational solutions within rural. In Nigeria, we have about 150 connected communities so far. And the whole idea is that we want to provide, they don't want there to be any difference between if you live in urban and rural. So we're trying to bridge the digital divide.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Okay, sir. Sir, you've been to so many rural areas in Africa doing your job. Can we share your experience?
So I tell people that I would love to live in a rural community.
Why?
It's so peaceful. There's less stress. The air is much better. Here, the air is great. Go to rural Nigeria, no matter where it is, the air is fresh, it's peaceful, but there are no amenities.
The infrastructure is
The
poor.
infrastructure is terrible. Myself and my partner, Dr. Tola, are rural minded. So
Do you stay for days when you do your assignments
yes.
within the rural setup?
Yes. I come from Ekiti.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go out there, I try as much as possible to stay for as long as I can, because it's stress-free. It's stress-free. The food is much better. The air is much better.
Security?
These days it's becoming more and more challenging, but where it's not challenging, even in Lagos, security in Lagos is a grace of God. So, but from a peace of mind and health perspective, rural Africa is it. And you remember 49% of Africa is rural.
Mm-hmm.
We've only got 51% of land and people that are in urban areas. But what is happening now is that there's a mass migration from rural to urban, just because of these amenities and features that are in urban. So urban is becoming overcrowded. Whereas the rural communities are much, much better and livable.
But they are not well catered for.
And that's why we come in. And that is why it takes the intervention of people like us to make sure that we do everything humanly possible to bridge that digital divide.
So which are the definite areas you cover, apart from these areas we talked about? Let's look at the education sector. Is there anything to write about the education sector?
So what's the new wave of education says the teacher and the pupils don't have to be in the same place where you can get technology. So you can bring in the teachers via the internet. to teach a group of people anywhere in the world.
In the rural sector.
In the rural sector.
Where is the technology?
Because the first thing we do when we get into rural is provide the connectivity.
Okay.
That's the first thing we do.
Okay.
So we partner with MTN, Airtel to provide 2G, 3G, 4G technology. So we say the first thing you need to do is to be able to communicate.
Okay.
Once you can communicate, now we layer that communication with these services, these digital literacy services, telemedicine services. So what do we do? Because primary health care is dead. There are no doctors in Nigeria. So if you have a doctor, they will not go to the rural area. They will rather stay in the city. So what we're doing now is do telemedicine. We put the patient in front of a computer and then we connect them to a contact center of doctors.
Okay. What about the area of where you have to test the patients?
So we have
check
all this.
tummy,
Yes.
the ears of the nose. What do you do?
So we have what you call the community healthcare workers.
Okay.
The technology is such that each thing is like a diagnostic lab. You have all those health point devices that can actually do the blood test, all these things, and send it out. So all those things exist
Online?
online
Okay.
in the cloud. So you'll be speaking to the doctor, the community healthcare worker is testing the patients and putting the results on the cloud so that allows the doctor to perform his diagnostics.
This is a great value, but how accurate does this work?
You know, it's the same tools that you use in the labs. Technology has brought the price down. You know, with technology, those things that were only accessible in the urban areas are now accessible locally in the rural community on a laptop. So what we have there is a laptop with these point devices that do ECG, that do eye test, that do air test. And all it means is that it's facilitated using the community healthcare workers to do that work.
So can you mention some of these rural areas, maybe few of them, where this works?
So
in Africa or Nigeria,
so our special area of focus is Kogi.
Kogi State.
Yes, so we've invested quite a lot in Kogi, and so far we have about 5 areas that we have marked. So we're looking at places like Mami, Ayetoro, Isonu, Idofin, yeah, and the whole idea is to put these enabling and transformational technologies into these areas. So because the nearest hospital to someone like Mami is about 30 kilometers. People can go there.
They cannot go there.
It's very expensive. Terrible roads.
So does it mean the indigene meets with their doctor regularly via online?
So what they do is that now we are providing a facility where when the need arises, you have a video conferencing session with the doctor.
Who is controlling this?
So that's the thing. What we have now is a pilot.
Okay. You are still at the pilot?
Yes. What we are looking to do is to work with the likes of NDDC, the likes of Shell, the likes of, to be able to give these guys some form of HMO, so that they don't pay per visit. That they have some health insurance that covers them. So, because that's the same thing we do in private healthcare. So we're looking at these companies and working with the state governments, because unless we change the paradigm of primary healthcare, our villagers and rural dwellers are going to be in a very bad state, because in those primary healthcare centers there's no doctors. With the Japa syndrome, most of our doctors have gone abroad. The little that is left, nobody wants to go to rural. So we have to change the way we do things.
Okay. Do you have teachers there?
Oh, yes.
Schools? Or do we even have schools?
That's becoming extinct. But we have to change the way we do healthcare, how we do education. because we need to use a technology approach to delivering these services. The same way we're delivering healthcare through telemedicine, we deliver education through e-education. A classroom, put it in front of a monitor, teacher. So we need to change the way we do things. And that's where we come in. We are real proponents of saying, if we keep on doing this, what we're doing, it's not going to land in a good place.
Leaders, are they thinking in this direction?
You know, leadership without people like us is us trying to set them up. We need to work with leadership.
Are they giving you the necessary attention?
We are trying. We will not stop trying.
Okay.
We will not stop trying to push that envelope. We need to push the envelope. It's not going to come easy because change is not something that comes easy. But with a pure heart and persistence, we'll get there.
Okay. And you've got good examples to show them where you've been.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
We also do things like I call it public safety. So we do public safety networks. Because of this Boko Haram, bandits, herdsmen, we've decided to work with communities that allow communities to have alerts when these bandits come into town, so that we can protect, there can be an early warning system. So, every time you have to prove the value in any solution we bring out, and it's working. People are beginning to listen, but it's taking a while.
It's a gradual process.
It's a very gradual.
Okay. The way technology is going in Nigeria, it seems we are not really moving the way we should move. What is your opinion about this?
I slightly disagree.
Okay, I stand to learn.
Yes, technology is moving. Because we have a youthful population,
Okay.
and what we need to make sure we do is we actually mentor and coach the younger generation. And because they're full of ideas, we need to be able to galvanize them in the area of progress. Or else we'll begin to use technology for criminal activities. So
The negative side.
The negative side of technology, because technology is like an instrument. You can use it for good or for bad. But we that have been in the business for quite a while have to be able to mentor, coach, cajole the youths so that they can follow the right path.
Okay. So look at our education. Let's start with the basic education. I believe technology should be a kind of prerequisite in their curriculum. If it is at all, I don't see them doing the practical. What is your take on this?
My biggest challenge is that our teachers don't have the right mindset because they're struggling. How does a hungry teacher teach a kid the right way?
Are they hungry?
Oh,
Their salaries are going on.
you think so? In this, you know, the rate of food inflation.
Yes, I agree with that.
How many teachers can actually afford to eat 3 square meals? Even 1 square meal a day. How many students can afford to eat 3 square meals? Because you have to be in the right frame of mind as a teacher and as a student to be able to move education forward. So, times are hard. The national curriculum for education is improving. And I have, because we can leapfrog a lot of developed nations, just like we did with the mobile phone. We didn't go the analog way to go the thing. We just leapfrogged and went into mobile telephony. And that's what we can do with with education, with health and likes of it. We just need to get past this murky bits. And I'll tell you, I think I see progress. I see a bright future. Or else I will not be in this country.
Okay.
I see a bright future.
So transforming education with technology alongside private person, should it be limited to the government sector? What roles are the parents supposed to play?
I think it's a tripartite partnership. Parents, governments, and students. And each one has to play its own part. And you might not, when you're building a 40-story building, you first of all go down before you go up. What's happening now is that we're building down. We're building a solid foundation. Over time, you see the building come down.
So right now we are at the foundation.
We are the foundations.
Then I was correct when I said, are we really in the right path of technology? Are we moving along with others?
We are.
If we are presently at the foundation level.
Because what we're doing is you're seeing the old going out and the new coming in.
Okay.
The old way of passing on information, the new way of passing on. But with the likes of AI, IoT, and all those concepts, you'll find out that the classroom now is no more a physical place. It's a virtual place.
Not in all.
But that is where we're going.
Okay.
It's just
still a process.
It's a process to move from where we are, but we can see where we're going. And now we need to just connect the dots so that we can actually follow that path. Yeah. You will see, you'll find out that today, the library, for instance, is no more a physical place. It's a virtual library.
It's just that the opportunity is not cut across.
But it will happen over time. Okay. I think we need to be able to manage the expectation as we go along. Okay. But as I said, I see a bright future.
Okay. The green light is there.
Oh yes. I can see the positive effects of technology on the lives of our kids. And how we can actually ensure that knowledge becomes intelligence. Data becomes knowledge. Yeah. And how we transition that path.
Okay. Sir, thank you very much. Let's move a little bit to the general education in Nigeria. I think it is a common say that our education is not really what it should be. We are not really doing fine in the education sector in Nigeria. If you believe so, what are we supposed to do to get better?
I think to a very large extent, what has happened over time is that the education sector and the industry have moved further apart from each other.
Apart?
Yes. In the sense that there is what you find out that our teachers, whether it's at primary, secondary, or university level, do not have an understanding of the industry. Because it has moved. So if you're not careful, you're teaching a curriculum that has gone past. Yeah. And I think that is where people like us come in, where we can actually bring in the university lecturers, the university students, to come and to understand what's happening in the industry. So that it changes the way the thought process and the curriculum that they teach. By making sure that there's an alliance between industry and education.
The you and I relationship.
You and I relationship.
But sir, looking at the industry today, majority of them don't even encourage intern or attachment students to come into their system. And where they do, they hardly give them anything to encourage them to be going and coming, even as little as transport allowance. So how do we now make the relationship to work if the industry is not encouraging interns to come in, even encouraging them with as little as transport allowance?
That happens.
Okay.
But there are many places that do encourage. We encourage.
Okay.
At any point in time, we have about 10 interns.
Okay, at a time?
Yes, because we know that we made a conscious decision that our job is to train and mentor. Yeah. And that's what we do. If you look at downstairs, it's like a training bench because for every 5 people you take in, 3 will go.
Okay.
Either one will jackpot, 2 will jackpot, 1 will say, I'm going to go and do my master's. But you know that you have to continuously do it. It's a cost center, but it's an investment. There are some that have been with us for 4 years, and they're already managers.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they came in as interns.
They came in as interns. We do 2 types of interns. We do the OND kind of intern that come for the year and then we ensure that we take them through the HND and BSc.
Okay.
In either night school or day release.
Okay. On the platform of Infratel Africa.
Infratel Africa. Yes. And we also have the youth service people that come in.
NYSC.
Yes, and then they come in and transition into staff. We also have those that come in from the university that do 3 to 6 months at a time. It's a conscious effort to do it. It's not convenient. But there's a long-term view that one takes. That's the only way we can actually ensure that we have a thriving bench. Or else, every time people jackpot, it affects the business. If your bench is not thriving. So what you're doing is that you're saying no one person takes his knowledge. It's spread. So that when one person leaves, it doesn't take the whole company down.
So how can we get more industry to encourage our students to come in as interns?
You'll find out that we're in a difficult time at the moment. It's a very difficult time.
It is.
Yeah. And most companies are in survival mode. Not growth mode. Yeah. You have to survive before you can begin to put those things in place that says, this is my growth path. So, those that are in survival, and you find out that most of this, even when the likes of MTN are declaring a loss, then you know that this is real survival mode. So, I think the ill wind will blow away. Yeah, I think another 2 years of this, we should be in a much better position as a country.
In the next 2 years?
In the next 2 years. Okay. Because the
And why did you say this?
Because there's some fundamental things that we need to address that are just being addressed now.
Okay.
Things like subsidy. Subsidy was like a cancer. If you don't deal with it, it's the future kids that will take the brunt of it. But we're dealing with it. It's not been pleasant. It's cost us a lot of heartache, but we can ride that storm. I'll say in another 2 years, it will feel the effects of subsidy, of ending subsidy. Last year, or 2 years ago, it was 3.6 trillion that we spent on subsidy for half a year. If we don't have to spend that money, that's money we put into education, we put into health. So 3.6 trillion of Nigerian money goes into some people that are cooking the books. So that subsidy was cooking the books. How many cars do we have in this country that were doing 7.2 trillion a year? So half of the money was going across the border, or was fictitious. So, but the effect of not doing subsidy in the short term is a pain. But in the medium to long term, it's benefits.
So you can see a clearer future?
I can see a clear future in Nigeria. Okay. If we maintain, because it's, in the short term, people are dying. Yeah, people are dying. And how do you sell the medium to long term when in the short term people can see beyond the suffering they're going through? Yeah. So one needs to deal with the short term with a lot of sensitivity. A deliberate act of saying, I will guide you through this short term.
Okay, sir, my last question. How would you encourage the graduates, the unemployed ones, roaming around the streets? What do you have to tell them?
For starters, I don't think anybody would want to go to university and roam around the streets.
We have so many of them.
Yes, and what I'm saying is that it's not because they want to roam around.
Okay.
It's because
The
the
job is not
opportunities
there.
are not there.
Yeah.
One thing that is clear in this dispensation of Gen Z is that there are no ready-made jobs. When we came up with
No ready-made jobs.
ready-made jobs,
So the way forward.
they need to learn entrepreneurship as part of their curriculum. And because even in suffering, there's so much opportunity. It's actually being able to identify those opportunistic innovations that want things. There's so much opportunity. The harder it gets in the country, the more the opportunity. But the point is that you have to be at a certain wavelength to be able to see through the mess and see those opportunities and latch on them. So if I was to advise any youth, I would say, look for those opportunities that exist. And it's not about money. When people say, I don't have money to start with, it's never money. It's opportunity.
Sir, can you unveil one of the routes to these opportunities?
One of the biggest challenges we have in Lagos today is waste. We can't collect enough waste.
We have more than enough.
We have more than enough. And that waste to wealth, is a fantastic opportunity. Waste to wealth is a fantastic. See how many tires you see all over the place. You know what does that money? That's money. But it takes the right mind to see that. There are so many opportunities. So many.
Okay. At this point, I would like to say thank you very much,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Alabi. Thank you for your time.
Really
It has been
appreciate
a resourceful afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers. Thank you very much.